As the second new character we are getting on the version 2.3, Ciaccona is here, and just like her counterparts on other games, she seems to be a great sub DPS that will help your teams while also allowing you to not use Spotify anymore while you play. In this video, I will explain all you need to know about her, how to build her, how to play with her, everything. My name is DPS, and let's start by explaining Ciaccona kit.
Let the show begin!
Ciaccona is a 5-star character from the Arrow element who uses a pistols type weapon and is focused on being a sub DPS for your teams that will also apply both Spectral Frazzle or Arrow Erosion. On her basic attacks, Ciaccona will perform attacks that will deal arrow damage, where her basic attack 4 will inflict 1 stack of Arrow Erosion on the target, and where after this attack, she will start a solo concert that gives 24% arrow damage bonus to all resonators in the team. But if she gets interrupted while casting her basic attack 4, she will create an ensemble sylphs to continue this attack string for her. When you use her skill, Harmonic Allegro, Ciaccona will deal arrow damage and inflict 1 stack of arrow erosion on the target upon hit. And if she interrupts any of her attacks with her skill, an ensemble sylph will be generated. On her Forte circuit, Symphony of Wind and Verse, Ciaccona can hold up to 3 stacks of her Forte bar. And every time she casts her basic attack 4 or intro skill, she recovers 1 stack. When her Forte bar is full, her heavy attack is replaced with heavy attack quadruple downbeat, where she consumes all stacks to deal arrow damage and pull nearby enemies while inflicting 1 stack of arrow erosion on the target's hit. On her liberation, Singer's triple cadenza, Ciaccona and her ensemble sylphs deal arrow damage once to the nearby targets and enter recital. When in recital, sound waves will periodically radiate around Ciaccona. When the sound wave overlaps with the circle indicator, you can choose the green or yellow buttons to generate a tonic of the corresponding color and recovers a certain amount of concerto energy. If you choose the green tonic, Ciaccona will deal arrow damage and inflicts arrow erosion on the target's hit. But if you choose the yellow tonic instead, she will deal arrow damage and inflict Spectral Frazzle on enemy's hit. If you switch to another resonator, your recital won't end, but it will automatically generate a tonic matching the color of the last generated tonic before switching. And a green tonic is generated by default if no interaction input is given before switching to another resonator. During recital, Ciaccona is immune to interruptions and takes 50% less damage. And you can end recital by pressing her liberation again or switching back to Ciaccona. And her ensemble sylphs can now directly grant arrow damage bonus provided by solo concert. On her intro skill, Roaming with the Wind, Ciaccona attacks the target, dealing arrow damage and inflicting a stack of arrow erosion. And if you follow with a basic attack in time, she will cast basic attack 3. And on her outro skill, Wind Calling Tune, arrow erosion damage dealt by all targets near the active resonator is amplified by 100% for 30 seconds.
Let the show begin!
With her minor fortes, Ciaccona will gain a total of 16% crit damage and 12% attack. With her first inherent skill, Interlude Tune, casting her liberation grants Ciaccona a shield equal to 100% of her max HP for 4 seconds. And switching out Ciaccona removes this shield. On her second inherent skill, Winds of Renacita, the damage dealt by her enhanced heavy attack is increased by 30%. Her talent priorities are the following: focus on your liberation first, followed by your basics and forte, after that your skill, and for last your intro skill.
Let the show begin!
Now let's talk a bit about Ciaccona sequences for those who are thinking to go after them. On her S1, casting her skill grants Ciaccona immunity to interruption for 3 seconds. And casting her basic attack increases Ciaccona's attack by 35% for 10 seconds. On her S2, during liberation, resonators in the team gain 40% arrow damage bonus. On her S3, casting basic attack 4 additionally grants 1 stack of her forte, and her skill gains 1 more charge. With her S4, Ciaccona ignores 45% of the target's defense when dealing damage with her enhanced heavy attack or liberation. On her S5, Ciaccona gains 40% resonance liberation damage bonus, and damage taken by resonators within and near the range of her liberation is reduced by 30%. And for last, on her S6, when in solo concert, Ciaccona and her ensemble sylph deal arrow damage equal to 220% of Ciaccona's attack to nearby targets, considered resonance liberation damage.
Let the show begin!
Now, it's time to talk about the best echo sets that you should farm for your Ciaccona. Our best in slot echo set will be the Gust of Welkin, increasing your arrow damage by 10% on its 2-piece, and on its full set, increases the arrow damage by all resonators in the team by 15%, and Ciaccona's arrow damage by 30% for 20 seconds after inflicting arrow erosion on enemies. And as your main echo, Reminiscent Fleur de Lis will be your best option, since it will give you even more 10% arrow damage. Another set you can use on Ciaccona, especially if you want her to be more towards a support build, will be the Moonlit Clouds, increasing your energy regen by 10% on its 2-piece, and on its full set, the attack of the next resonator upon using outro skill gets increased by 22.5% for 15 seconds. And for the main echo, the Impermanence Heron will be your best choice, because once the initial attack lands on the enemy target, Ciaccona will regain 10 energy, and the next character entering the field after the outro skill gets their damage boosted by 12% for 15 seconds. And while you are still trying to get a complete set for your Ciaccona, you can mix and match echo sets that provide arrow damage or energy regen, with the Reminiscent Fleur-de-Lis as your main echo.
Let the show begin.
Now that we know the best sets, let's now talk about the best stats you need to be looking out for. For the 4-cost echo, crits. For the 3-cost echoes, arrow damage. And for the 1-cost echoes, attack percent. For the substats, you should focus on crits, attack percent, liberation damage, and energy regen.
Let the show begin.
For Ciaccona weapons, her best insult will be her signature, Woodland Area, which will give you a good amount of crit rate on its substat, and its passive will increase your attack by 12%, 24% arrow damage for 10 seconds after inflicting arrow erosion, and reducing enemies' arrow res by 10% for 20 seconds after hitting targets with arrow erosion. Other 5-star options you can use if you have them laying around in your inventory are the Last Dance and Static Mist. The Last Dance will be better suited for a bigger personal damage due to its passive and higher crit damage substat. But Static Mist is an incredible FTP option since it has good stats and a passive that offers more buffs for the character taking the field after Ciaccona, perfectly synergizing with her wall. Her best 4-star option will be the Romancing Farewell, providing a decent amount of attack on its substat and increasing your attack by up to an extra 16% on S1 depending on the number of negative status your enemies have. And for last, if you don't want any of these weapons, you can always use Relativistic Jet, providing a decent amount of attack on its substat and increasing even more your attack, as well as giving you some energy after using your skill.
Let the show begin.
For Ciaccona teams, she will be a sub DPS that will be slotted into any team that needs both Spectral Frazzle or Arrow Erosion, and since she will be providing a consistent number of stacks, she can help some characters during multi-wave battles. So here are some team options. For a Gian team, pair her with Gian, Mortefi or Arrow Rover. For a Zani team, pair her with Zani and Spectral Rover. For a Phoebe team, pair her with Phoebe and Shorekeeper or Spectral Rover. And for a DPS team, pair her with Yinlin and Shorekeeper or Verena. Just a reminder that these were just some examples of teams. You are free to play and try whoever you like and makes sense to you. Not to mention that it's not impossible that some future characters might work better than the current ones, so keep that in mind.
Let the show begin.
So, what's your opinion about Ciaccona? Are you ready to battle while hearing this singer? After this guide, I hope you have a more understanding on how to build and play with her. If you like my content, don't forget to leave your sub and to like this video. My name is DPhoenix and you are free to follow me on my other socials if you wish. A special thanks to my members for trying to support me even more, and thank you so much for staying until the end. Seeing you on the next one, have a nice day and good luck on your pulls.